Will Packard, the fans would like a word. Do you have time to get on Zoom next weekend? The fans would like to have a conversation with you. Not only did you come back like nothing ever happened, you didn't even offer us a longer preview. You know how the Shy will say, last time on the Shy. Last episode on the Shy. And they give you a whole bunch of clips and then they'll go back to something way, way back, episode 1, just to let you know that on this episode it is going to be relevant. You didn't even do that. You went ahead and ran the previews for the last episode as if it hasn't been more than 60 days since we seen y'all. You can't call nobody, text nobody, give anybody a preview, a snapshot, a reminder. You couldn't even do that. We would like a word. You need to get on your Zoom. You need to get on your Zoom at 10. You need to talk to us about what the hell is going on, Will Packard. See, I done already cussed. We ain't even a minute into the review. Forgive me. How y'all doing? Let me quit talking to him because he ignorant. How y'all doing? I hope you guys are doing good today. I'm doing well. This is the review for Ready to Love. I forgot the name of the show. Season 10, episode 7. We are back. At first, I had been talking all kind of mess, y'all, to everybody who would listen to me. I ain't watching the show. I'm sick of them. They said they was coming back in June. They said they was coming back in July. It's August, and here I am. Just running my mouth, child. Here I am, right here with y'all, watching the show. So let's just get to the review. Hopefully we remember everybody. I remember all these people. Now, just a friendly disclaimer, you guys, I am Edriel. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with the military, I am on active orders in addition to being on my regular guard duties as well. So I work a regular job for the military, and I also have my other National Guard duties, my 1 week in a month to do for the military. So believe me, I am maxed out. I'm tired. I am focused on getting in this bed, but I did not want to do the review tomorrow because I just felt like the show's just coming back. Don't be late for the first episode. So if I don't quite get everything to the T, it's only because I didn't take notes. I watched the show and I immediately said, review it right now. So Frit, he got eliminated, y'all. I completely forgot he was even on the chopping block from the last episode. He took it well. Sahara told him, he was like, the other shoe drops. And Sahara said, the cookie crumbles. I was very tickled. But of course, she was the one to do it because you remember they had their little thing after he went into the elimination and said what he said to the guys about Sahara. So she was still feeling some type of way about that. And I think she was happy and relieved to be able to get him back in a sense. But he took it very well and he was on his merry way. So, goodbye to him. Now we can move on to the challenge. The fellas meet up with Nephew Tyler Perry. Nephew Tyler Perry tells them that they are going to be speaking to the exes of the women. So same formula that we always follow, except for this time, didn't nobody have no exes. They might need to throw this challenge out the window. This has been one of the first seasons where multiple people did not have an ex to bring. It's usually only one. So let's get into how these meetings went. Okay, so one of the first meetings is between, why can't I ever remember this child's name? I mean, just can't never remember her name. Angie. She got one of the easiest names. I keep wanting to call the girl Jessica. I want to call her everything but Angie. Okay, so Angie meets up with Hussein, which is one of her interests, and her child's father. So, okay, very much having a relationship with him. They don't really talk too much now unless it's time to exchange the child. And other than that, if it don't have nothing to do with the child, he wouldn't really say that they were friends, but they are at least cordial. Hussein does ask what happened in their relationship, and what ended up happening was he stated that Angie didn't need him. For example, she drove herself to the hospital when she was pregnant. Like, I just don't understand stuff like that, and I was getting a little tired of it. He wanted a woman that was going to be able to step back and let him lead. There was a lot of that going on during the episode, y'all. It's several step back and let me leads going on. I'm not I'm gonna let the people have it. I'm tired, okay? But I'm gonna just let the people have it today, because y'all know how I can get. So I'm gonna just be quiet. Maybe there's a lesson to be learned here. But a lot of letting of leading going on this episode. And she was just Hussein says she seems like one of those women that's like, if I want you to do something, then I'm asking for you to do it now. And if you don't do it now, then I am going to proceed to get up and do it myself. So as soon as I say it, I'm probably going to get up and start getting it done, basically, is what he's getting out of her, which can be a little bit of a red flag, because Hussein is the type that likes to run his house, lead his house, do all of the things. And we're going to hear this several more times from other gentlemen throughout the show. But that was part of their main issue as to why they ended up breaking up. This man is disturbing, and somebody needs to check his phone for photos, text messages. Somebody needs to dig back into his history. What is the statute of limitations in Philadelphia? I believe there are things that need to be researched about this man. I didn't like him. I didn't like his energy. And as soon as he came in like, hey, girl, I already knew he was going to be trouble. We should have known that you were trouble from the start. We should have known that you were trouble from the start. I don't know why Kiara felt the need to even bring him. This was so the wrong ex to bring. But maybe she was out of options. It seemed a lot of the women were. So she brings him. This is her ex. And we find out that as he goes through I would have been embarrassed to tell anybody this. But see, this just let me know he ain't got no shame. When Jay asked about them in their relationship, he says, I met her a while back. At the time, she was younger than my youngest sister. So was she a friend of your sister's? Was she at your house? This is why if I had a daughter, you can't go. I mean, the son too, but you ain't finna go to nobody's house. If they got an older brother, you ain't going. Okay, you can't go over there. Now, that's what I said, because I don't know what's going on sometimes in these houses. I do wonder, though, if she might have been a friend of his sister, but she was younger than his youngest sister at the time. There was a 9-year age difference. He was peeping her, though, as she was young, and then he just kind of watched her grow up, and then at the opportune time, when she became of age, these are things he said now. He said when she became of age, that is when he swooped in and decided to date her. So y'all do the math. Jay said she had to be about 9. That's what he said. So as I said, somebody need to get in this man's phone, check his computer, jerk it away from him right now if you sit next to him before he got time to delete anything. He is giggling and laughing and talking about their relationship, talking about who she used to be. And I believe he was trying to say like she was a humble servant for the Lord, but it wasn't coming out right. Either way, he shouldn't have said it, but he was like, the woman I know, she wasn't on that bougie stuff, because Jay liked it. Jay liked that she kind of bougie. He enjoys that about her. I think he sees it as cute. He sees it as a challenge. He sees it as he said, a mindset. That's a mindset, being bougie. And he was like, oh, well, she wasn't all that when I met her. She was still a humble servant. And she was like, hold on, it was never given servant. Okay. It was never given that. But he corrects himself, and he was like, she was a servant for the Lord, and she was living like this, and she ain't okay. We're clear now of what you're saying. But now she's not that anymore, and you can get over it. She's changed. She's a different type of woman now, and either you're going to get with it or get lost. And I see that's why you had to get lost. You met her when she was young. She was probably way more humble. Maybe he did mean servant, as in serving me, doing what I wanted her to do, going where I told her to go, saying the things I wanted her to say. Now all of a sudden she had like she too good to do the things that I want her to do. She hadn't like she done discovered some stuff on her own. Now I actually got to try to impress her. I didn't have to do that when she was 9, 10, 11, 12. I didn't have to do that back in the day. Now she expects things out of me like another grown woman would. And that's really his problem. So I'm completely unimpressed. I'm disgusted. I don't know about y'all. I wanted this man off my television screen, and I was looking at Kiara like, baby, what is this? This is a part of your past that you should have left buried. You should have filed him under childhood friend and went on with your life. I would have never let this man, baby, from dust he came, and from dust he would have remained. I would not have brought this man on this show, especially not the way he's talking. He's freaking disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I would never brought him here. Keep him away from me. Keep him away from the children. We don't trust him. And then, y'all, if that wasn't enough, he started letting us know how he still holds some type of torch for this girl. Yeah. I really care for her. I really love her. You always remember people that you really care about. So I'm still here for her in a lot of ways. And Jay was just like, hold on. So what you saying? You still want her? You got a crush on her? He was like, well, you got more than one crush. So what are you saying? Are you saying if you get the opportunity, even if you about 80, you might still try it? Jay says what a lot of us was thinking. His phone must be dry. His options must be completely dried up. He must not have nothing or nobody else to still be pining away after this girl that he met when she was 9. And he waited until she grew up and it was time. Boy, who is going to be a long rest of the season, ain't it? She should have never brought him on here. I was so glad when it was over. It was cringy. Jay said he's still locked in with Kiara, and I'm not saying he shouldn't, but I still would be looking at her like, do you know what grooming is? Are you aware that you probably were not in a relationship? These are things we need to discuss just in case. Do you have a daughter? Because I need to know. I need to make sure you know what this was. I need to make sure you're not confused and think that you really was in a relationship. Because I think this girl thinks she was really in a relationship with this man. And she was not. Okay. This is grooming at its finest. All right. We got Cam meeting up with Sahara. Sahara don't have nobody for Cam to meet because her exes have gone on to glory. I really hate that. I hate that for Queen. So her major ex, I guess I'll say, has gone on to glory. So there's nobody for him to meet. And I believe Sahara. I just don't see Sahara telling no tales, baby. She comes very raw and authentic. Like nephew Tommy said, you're going to get the real her. So instead, she is a open book for Cam. Cam can ask whatever questions he wants to ask of her. And I felt like Sahara was honest because some of the stuff she was saying, it didn't make her sound good. So she definitely wasn't trying to, put herself in the best of light. She told the truth, would sound like to me. If she was lying, I wouldn't have told them lies. But she basically just talks about how one of her exes handled her very roughly. And she didn't like that, even though she can handle it, she doesn't want to be the one to handle it, though. She doesn't want to be that person. She doesn't want to be that type of girl anymore. And she states that she might have to start acting a little bit differently so these men can start treating her nicer. And Cam says, or you can act however you want to act. And a man can see you and still treat you well. I said, that Cam know the words to say, don't he? I think he is amused. He's so amused by Sahara. I think he does. Yeah, I think it's more of an amusement almost. Like, this girl is kind of wild. I wonder if I can tone her down a little bit. That's how I feel like he looks at her. Like, he be looking at her like he a little bit hungry. But you know what? Cam look at somebody else like that, too. We gonna get into it. But he look at Sahara in a different way. Like, I'm real hungry to settle you down, simmer you down. This is a challenge for me. Challenge. I think that's what he sees when he looks at Sahara. Sahara seems like she's a sweet girl. She knows she's a handful. She a handful, though, so you better be ready for her. But yeah, no exes there, so not too much to talk about. Side note, didn't y'all cringe when Cam said, oh, that mean you a ride or die? Oh, I hate that so much. I do not like for women, specifically black women, to be referred to as a ride or die. Like Sahara said, I'm tired of riding and dying. Well, this got a little interesting. Chenise brings San Francisco to meet her ex. And her ex was funny when he got up and he was like, dang, I get in the gym. I thought that was funny. But her and her ex get along very well. They seem to have chemistry that even San Francisco noticed. I'm going to quit calling them that. That Cisco noticed. He was like, dang, y'all got chemistry. Does Cisco strike you all as a bit insecure? Am I reading that wrong? Because I noticed that he always has like some side commentary to make about another man. And only men I know that do that are men who are somewhat insecure. But y'all let me know if that's something y'all notice. Just something I clocked. Could be wrong, but also could be right. Chenise brings her ex in to speak to him. He doesn't really have too much bad to say about her. This is an ex from college. And listen, not every ex is going to have a bad thing to say. Most of their issue was due to timing. Of course, they met in college. Those things happen. She was on her travel stuff. She was really in her bag, her entrepreneurship bag, or traveling. She was doing her thing. And at the time, he wasn't really doing that. So it sounded like he might be doing it now, though. Did you hear him say at the time, I wasn't really doing that? So I was like, oh, you doing it now? And what y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna get back together? They might as well get back together. They seem like they get along. They was laughing and talking. Shoot, why not? Everything don't work the first time. Maybe it's gonna work this time. Y'all was young, so shoot. And Francisco don't want Chenise no way. And we found that out on the date. Because as they're talking, he mentions that Chenise is somebody that he became very connected to. What he appreciates about her, though, to me, is like a motherly quality. And that can always be really dangerous, especially when you're dealing with a love interest. They may see something in you that needs, that fits their healing. You can heal a certain part of them. And so, but romantically, though, they may not see you that way. And I feel like that's kind of what Cisco has in Chenise. And plus, he done already seen them titties. They was right, okay? But still, I just think that connection is something different. It's not really romantic to him, in my opinion. And so when he mentions that he does have other people that he was interested in, so to speak, like she is a person that I am interested in, or one of the people I'm interested in, she looked at her ex and said, oh yeah, you hear that? One of. And so he was like, yeah, I also am connected with Taye. I also have an interest in her. And so the ex asked Chenise, oh, what does Taye look like? And she responds, she's cute. I did not think it was shady. Did y'all think she was throwing shade when she said that Taye was cute? I didn't think she said it in a shady way, but y'all can correct me if I'm wrong or if you feel like you heard some. And Cisco gonna turn around and be like, she's beautiful. Okay? She's beautiful. I'm just saying, like, it's not gonna be no disrespect. You have to be respectful and all this. I'm just like, girl, he don't want you. Right then, I would have been like, okay, well, it was really good seeing you. You can go ahead and exit the table. Me and my ex finna talk as hell. This obviously ain't going down for me. Like, I don't know. I felt like he jumped at her kind of raw. Like, she was trying to disrespect the girl. And I really wasn't getting that vibe from her. But y'all can tell me if that's what y'all felt like. I did not. That's not what I was getting. That is not what I was getting. But we clearly see where Cisco's loyalties lie. All right? You ain't never got to worry about that man not respecting you in private. Okay, so Rose goes out with her ex and Hussein and Cam, and baby, them two was pissed. They was trying to get some dirt. Cam was more pissed than anybody. Cam wanted the goods on the girls, okay? He wanted to get the girls caught up. He wanted the info. He wanted, what's the 411? Mary J. Blige. He wanted the information. And if you ain't had no information, Cam was pissed. Cam was just like, I'm not getting no tea from these men. So he really wanted it on Rose because he feel like Rose seemed too good to be true. But I feel like he got tea on her. It just wasn't maybe the tea he wanted to hear. The tea is she not going if you don't believe in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. That's the tea for me. And Cam is sitting there acting like he's willing or he could. And Rose is sitting there acting as if she's okay and she's flexible. I'm the most understanding woman you'll ever meet. Rose and Chenise just strike me as one of them women who have tried to love a brother through it, help a brother out, see the king in them and all that other stuff. Let me tell you, that don't work. That don't work. And there's a number of women who will tell you that. Yeah, I would personally tell you, I ain't never been like super, super, super sweet. But there was a time where I was what I would consider myself a sweet girl. Like very submissive, very kind, very doting, very all of the things, right? You know what has worked better for me than anything else with men? Meanness. And I'm not saying it worked with every man. I'm just saying 98% of them. I don't know if they got some type of trauma responses, but if not outright mean, at least stern. Becoming a woman who don't play has got me way, way more than what they trying to do right here. I'm so understanding. And look, you can be understanding. But you better not do it to your detriment. And what I mean by that, Rose, is if you know you want a man who serves the Lord, why would you act like you so flexible with him just, doing the spirituality thing? That don't work for you. And eventually the same things that you're trying to be understanding about are going to be the things that get on your nerves and eventually break y'all up. So just go ahead and say now, yeah, that's a hard line for me. That's what I need. You already pretty much said it, but then you started backpedaling and coochie popping. Why? For this man? He gonna leave anyway. He gonna always get his bottom line, and that's what I love about men, child. I love y'all for that. Don't ever change. Anyway, I didn't even remember what Hussein asked or anything, but he felt the same. He felt similar to Cam, like, it's got to be something. You can't the girl ain't perfect, right? The girl ain't perfect, but let Rose ex tell it. They didn't have no problems. The only issue was really him and the fact that I think he said he had. Did he say he had 3 kids? He has a number of children. I know that. And he just really didn't have the time to do the things that Rose wanted him to do. So other than that, she a sweet woman. She a good woman. And y'all would be lucky to have her. I just couldn't have her. Looks like we have another one, y'all, with no ex to bring to the table. But in Taye's defense, I think she had a good reason. She did try. She called a couple of her exes. They are either in relationships. And the other one that she could have brought is very, very toxic. They don't speak. They don't need to speak. They don't got nothing going on. And she was not bringing whoever he was out here. And so they let me know they used to cut up real bad. So she brings, I was about to say San Francisco. She brings Cisco and she brings, what is this child's name? Is it Khalil? I hope that's his name. She brings Khalil and Cisco to the table. And they do end up asking her some questions that, again, like Sahara, don't really make her sound the best either. Not all of them anyway, but one in particular, she kind of talks about how she can be in conflict and how she can really, really like go there. Like she could really get irritated at first, really go there. And then like later on, she may calm down. But in the moment, baby, she there. She getting in it with you. So she does kind of bring that up, how she can have somewhat of an attitude. And why did Khalil ask her on a good week when y'all, when y'all good, how often are y'all having sex? I said, well, wow. And he let us know. He liked Taye, he feeling Taye, and hopefully the physical will be coming. So he went ahead and asked the physical questions. Baby, I guess Taye couldn't get her words together. She was, child, she was stuttering and stammering, trying to get her stuff together. But again, I noticed that Cisco brings up how her body is turned towards him, and she could see in her body language that she was really feeling Khalil. Like, okay, cool, but I don't know. He just not coming off as confident to me, which is really surprising. He's a good looking guy. He's in great shape. Exude confidence. Ask the questions. Usually you turn towards a person who's engaging you the most. It may not even be necessarily that she finds him more attractive. So it's just the things that he continued to call out about the different dates, always pertaining to another man or the woman he dealing with interest in another man. Like, something about that was suspicious to me. What did y'all think about this interaction? Child, I forgot these people was on the show. Okay, Deanna and Pony, I'm probably saying her name wrong, and Ponytail, that's what I'm gonna have to call him. I can't remember his name, and Khalil. They meet up again. She don't got no ex either. They shouldn't have been allowed to film, because I don't even know what to talk about when you don't have no ex there. Khalil points out that she got the cheeks out. I said, Khalil, now you're going to have to calm that D down, all right? Just like I tell these women, calm that coochie down, calm that D down. I don't know if I can say that word on this channel. Calm it down. You doing too much. I mean, I know she meant to have the cheeks out, but play it cool, baby. You see, Ponytail was playing it cool. But yeah, okay, they meet up. She lets them know there's no ex that can come because their situation was real toxic. And again, she was honest. The stuff she was saying didn't make her sound good. Didn't make her sound all that great either. When she was admitting about, some of her attitude issues. Also how she give you 3 strikes and she don't even tell you about the first one. 3 strikes, you out, and you didn't even know that you were in trouble because she been holding it in. She been keeping it in her mind. And she been thinking to herself, you do one more thing wrong, I'm gone. And she will cut you off. Now, fellas, how did y'all feel when y'all heard her say that? Because I didn't hear her say like, and that's something I need to fix. No, she said I do it. And what? So, maybe she don't think it's a problem. I'm not really sure. But those are her things. There was no X, and she will give you 3 strikes. Maybe even 2, she said. I feel like she might have said 2 strikes and you out. Okay, I'm not dealing with you no more. Cry to your mother. All right, so Cam and Angie meet up, and this time she don't bring her child's father because she feels like her and Cam just made their connection, so she doesn't really want him meeting it. All y'all just made y'all connection. But okay, Cam is disappointed again because y'all know Cam been trying to get the tea on anybody he could, and once again he's showing up and meeting no exes. Okay, Cam was ready for some action, so nothing ends up happening there. He says it's sort of a red flag that Angie did not introduce him to anybody. He doesn't really like it. And when he finds out at the elimination that she introduced Hussein to somebody and not him, he's really irritated by that. So that ends up being a discussion later, and we'll just move right into the elimination night. So Deliberation. So when the guys get in there, a couple of things I noticed. Cam was irritated because he didn't get introduced to somebody once he found out Hussein actually did. We also find out, backtrack. What he did find out from Angie on that day is another, I didn't let him lead and I'm the man and I like to lead. So there was more of that conversation. It went on a third time with somebody too. I just don't remember who it was, but a lot more letting me lead type of situation. And we also find out on their date that Angie and Cam have a lot of sexual chemistry, and Cam is trying to get away from that, which I applaud him for, but he ain't working that hard. So now back to the deliberation. So we find that out. We also find out, again, y'all, I think Francisco has a little insecurity. You know, he's bringing up how Khalil is now saying that Taye is his number one choice and he's feeling the heat. And I mean, that's good. He sees what I see in Taye, but I don't want nobody else wanting my woman. Jay is pretty much locked in with, is her name Kiara or Kiara? I think they're pretty much locked in for the most part. And he says Chenise sent him a, basically like a mass good morning king type of text, and he wasn't really feeling that. Cisco also stated that he may have had some issues with Chenise as well, especially since she brought a college boyfriend. Like, you're not really going to find anything out from that. They all were disturbed about Jay's date and him pretty much dating her when she was looking at her possibly when she was underage. I'm trying to think of what else. Who ended up being in the bottom, though, was Chenise, and ended up being Angie. Once Cam found out he didn't get introduced to nobody, she ended up being in the bottom as well. So who has to go home? Well, conversations are had, and let's hear those. You know what? Actually, this review is getting a little lengthy, so let's just go straight to it. Chenise ends up getting sent home, and you would think one would be disappointed, but oh no, she says she is more ready to love than she was when she got there. She's an introvert, so this was a major test for her, which I think that part is good, coming out of her shell. Then she proceeds to speak life into Cisco, who had such a hard time, letting her know that the fellas had decided, and she's telling him, maybe I was sent here to help you on your spiritual path. Maybe I was sent here to listen. Y'all could do all that pouring and shucking and jiving if you want to. I'm telling you right now, you need to cut it out. You need to cut it out. Because what did Cisco say? Right after he said he felt bad, he put himself right back first. He said, but if I had to choose right now between her and Taye, it wasn't going to be her anyway. Men don't ever change. Ladies, learn. Anyway, y'all, let me know what y'all thought about the episode. That's really all I have. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see y'all for the next one. Will Packard, Zoom. Let's see if we can get something going before the show. We have things to say to you. Let us know your schedule.